FIFA find themselves in quite a jam. They did. First of all, I don't know what they consider. I don't know in what they consider or what they don't consider or what they look into or what they don't look into other than money is starting to be questioned. And it should have been questioned a long time ago because there were many journalists. I mean, I asked people when I was in Qatar, what are you going to do with weather delays? What are you going to do in the event that a government comes in or an administration comes in that's not really helping your bottom line out? No one had an answer. Football unites the world, and same stuff you've been hearing over and over again. Football unites the world, and everything's going to be fine. For people around the world, look, it's normal for matches or games, whether it be American football, whether it be baseball, whether it's any sport for that matter, because the safety of the audience is primordial. There have been matches played in snow. There have been matches played in the rain. There have been matches played in the driving rain. That's not the problem. The problem are lightning strikes. The problem ends up being also possibly tornadoes. That could, at any moment's notice, all of a sudden happen. They do. You don't have much time when a tornado, God forbid that ever happens. I don't wish that on anything or anyone. South Florida or Florida and North Carolina have hurricanes. Texas too. What do you do there? Is there a plan there for FIFA? No, there isn't. That's why everything's so different. There have been talks that the perimeters have changed with the protocols that have been established. I can't get too much into it because I don't know too much about it. It has been mentioned how the radius or the radii of many stadiums, usually it's recommended that it's 8 to 10 miles, which is about 13 to 16 kilometers radius from the stadium. Any lightning strikes happen, match is called. Not called, but it's suspended. And then, of course, you have to wait 30 minutes until the final lightning strike to proceed with the event. Protocol. It is what it is. But now FIFA is saying, hey, you know what? You had a match that started, I don't remember the time exactly, but it was somewhere to... It took 4 hours and 45 minutes to play Benfica-Chelsea, basically. 4 hours and 45 minutes for a football match. That's a problem for FIFA. What was it? In parts of Europe, the match ended almost at 3 o'clock in the morning. When it should have ended around midnight, technically speaking. Now, that's not FIFA's fault. Mother Nature's unbeaten, folks, and you can't just bitch about it because there's nothing that's going to happen. Not a damn thing you can do about it. But you do have to have something in place. What do you do? And maybe one solution ends up being worse than the other because let's say, okay, fine, well, you know what? Because of these time restrictions, well, we'll play the rest tomorrow. That's a nightmarish situation because you throw logistical plans in a loop for one team, for two teams, and then the logistics also, what ends up being backed up in one city ends up being backed up in other cities because then other teams have to come in and the hotel for the teams that are leaving. It's a whole mess. Let me just put it that way. And especially depending on what team A or team B are flying, and it can end up being a pretty complicated situation. FIFA didn't think about that. FIFA thought about, we take a tournament to the US and we're going to earn billions. That's what they thought about. Because the notion in the now the cracks are starting to be seen, unfortunately, because, and it's still logical if you think about it. The US is one of those countries that could take over a tournament and do it in a snap of a finger. Well, that's not so true anymore. That narrative is slowly fading away, quickly fading away, as we're seeing right now. Because there's a lot of things that aren't being prepared for the World Cup. Because many thought that the U.S. could just instantly do it. Not the case. Because you're having a lot of transportation issues. I'll give you an example. Philadelphia, for example, has already cut their budget for transportation by a whopping $260 million. I might be wrong on that number, but there was a significant cut on SEPTA, which has cut a significant amount of stops, which has raised prices for transit, but it's also reduced the service. Now, this is happening right now. This budget was approved by SEPTA, and I don't know if they're going to be able to get any state approval on funds to be able to upgrade in order to continue their service and improve the service heading into 2026. So you're having transportation issues on one end, you're having logistical ends on the other, you're having issues all over the place. And let me not add the air traffic controller issues that they had early at the beginning of the year, the chaos at airports, the visa issues that are going on. People were throwing shit at Brazil and at South Africa, but the U.S. is having their problems too. Let me not kind of, veer off the deep end right now. But there are some major issues going on here. And for television, for an event, whatever it is, to usually be 2.5 hours, and it extends to 4.5 and it goes into the window of another match, what the hell do you do? And God knows, maybe the way things are going, hypothetically, you can go into a second match and you still have another match going on or waiting to be played. What do you do? Television must not be too happy with what's going on. I'm talking about internationally. I'm not talking about the U.S. The U.S. understand it maybe a little bit better. Maybe. Because they try to Americanize football, so they're trying to reinvent the wheel here. And that's where things end up being dangerous when it comes to having to deal with U.S. media in football. I'll let you go with that. But it's a very, very precarious situation right now, what's going on. Now, will the World Cup at the end be successful? Probably. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're all there for the spectacle, and if they put on a good show, then everybody's happy. I mean, let's see what happened with this Club World Cup. Everybody was talking about it, but at the end, most people have been pleased with it because of the spectacle, because of the matches, because of the product on the pitch, which is at the end what everybody wants to see. But if you start looking at the periphery, a lot of narratives are starting to be broken.